So at Good Vibes, we're a little bit different to most music schools in that we don't just teach instruments and do band coaching. We actually have a whole teaching philosophy around everything we do. So let's talk a little bit about what that is.
Exactly. So what we did is we pulled together our team of expert pro musicians and we started discussing going, actually, what's it take to be a musician, not just of right now, but of the future as well. And what we discovered and came up with was these 5 strands that it takes to be that future musician. And they are ability, creativity, musicality, collaboration, and performance.
So let's dive in and find out a little bit more about those.
This links in really closely with our real teaching methodology, which is all skills-based learning. It's based on learning skills. And so the ability strand of the 5 pillars is all about developing and gaining those skills. So the way we see it is that as you're progressing through your journey as a musician, becoming a musician, is that what you're doing is you're acquiring more and more skills. So that could be something really basic from understanding a time signature, crotchets, quavers, quarter notes, half notes, etc., right the way through to understand how power chords work, understanding relationships between keys and so on. So the idea behind the ability is that what you're doing is you're acquiring these skills to be able to play your instrument. Ultimately, it's the ability of how to make your instrument make music.
And where does that kind of take place, like within a lesson?
It's fundamental to everything that we're doing within the lesson. So from the moment you walk in the door, right the way through, really what you're doing is you're gaining that ability to play music and make music through your instrument. But it also happens outside the lesson as well. So the lesson is really the instigator for it. That's where the feed-in happens through the teacher. The teacher is leading that journey and uncovering these skills for you, letting you discover these skills. But then that continues outside. So with the playing that you're doing outside, with the collaboration that you might be doing with other bands and groups and people, with the performance opportunities, what you're doing is you're putting that ability into practice in different contexts.
And how do the kind of Good Vibes star levels fit into that?
Yeah, really good question there. So that's really fundamentally markers and engagement for delivery of skills. So we already know that the period, that very early stage, usually when students are the most excited about learning because it's something new, is also a really difficult time because the period between first starting and, let's say, initial grade 1, can be quite a long time. So breaking it down into those 6 steps where students can pick up the skills and learn their skills, hone their ability in a nice progressive way, is a way of motivating and also a kind of assessment, like, understanding where a student is on that journey in that first early stages.
For sure. And how does it fit with the skills-based teaching?
Yeah, so they obviously link very closely together in that the skills-based teaching is the ability. You are gaining that ability. So the ability is a kind of broad overall term, if you like, for the collection of those skills. The star levels is a benchmark to identify which skills you've got at which certain points within it.